All right, guys, I am back with a brand new update. Now, I'll have a DC update later, but this video is going to detail on what happened yesterday with the person who had made death threats against my family. And I do have to publicly thank Sammy for alerting me to this issue, because until somebody had shown me, I wouldn't have even have known that account at Exposed Jerks, Hero Wonder, had actually done this stuff. And I'm going to explain exactly what happened, and this is no laughing matter. First of all, I have to address a couple of things before I tell this story that I find appalling, okay? First of all, this is not an issue about Snyder versus Gunn. These types of issues are people who are mentally disturbed and have issues and need to get help. It's not about us versus them. It's not about my side or that side. If somebody is going to take the time to go look for personal information and pull things and start posting it online and making death threats, that person needs to get help. Please seek help. If you are so triggered by my videos, it's not because of me. And this is one of the things I wanted to address, that there are people out there trying to say I'm stirring the pot. I'm not stirring anything, guys. I'm here. I'm an entertainment channel to bring you guys information that I find and talk about how I feel about movies. If you have a different opinion and you're getting that worked up about it, you need to go seek help. Please get help. You can destroy your entire life by doing something like this online. And what's crazy is people were trying to tell me the FBI is not going to get involved. And for a minute there, I thought they weren't going to get involved. But I had to fill some stuff out. And I'm going to talk about all of what happened and what the result of this was. But I am going to show a couple of these photos first. So first off, I had this ArcLight PMW sit here and actually put on Twitter that this was staged, that they thought I had staged this, right? Like this was me staging this. And it's crazy that the Man of Tomorrow said the sad thing is Snyder fans have been doing this kind of thing for years, but I guess that it's only okay for them to do. And then this person said that's a possibility since his YouTube and Twitter are failures. My YouTube channel is not a failure, and my Twitter is not a failure. I don't understand why people have to go to these lengths to try and belittle and are falling off. There's nothing that is falling off, okay? Also, how quick he was to blame gun fans. We don't even know he was. So they're trying to say this is my fault. My fault. I was the victim, people. I was the victim. Then we had Superman for all seasons. This is ridiculous. He said, you are an influencer and didn't lock down your own social media while using your real name. Plus, you enjoy pissing people off. I don't know. I do not enjoy pissing people off. Like, dude, what did you expect to happen? That's what he said. I said, I don't piss people off. That's their choice. To get all bent out of shape over superhero stuff, it's a mental illness. He said, do you not have no self-awareness whatsoever? You eat that crap up and then tell people they need help when you as the influencer should be above that. It is their problem. They're pissed. Yes, but you stirred the pot. I said, it's typical of people like you. It's never the person's fault who actually committed the crime. It also goes against Twitter's terms of service to post photos from other platforms without the consent of the owner, period. Private or public. So it doesn't matter if my photos are private or public from my Facebook page. Nobody has the right to go over them and share them on Twitter. It is against their terms of service. I said the only person at fault was the perp, period. And then this Mr. Shart comes out all the time. He pops up and was saying that I'm sure they did. The FBI got involved. They're never going to get involved. He says, somebody said probably, but the FBI doesn't care, as if a no-name voice actor received death threats. Doesn't matter who you are. This whole thing of me saying I'm a no-name voice actor, nice job on trying to put me down. I don't care what you guys think anymore. I make a living at it. I support my family. I don't care what you think about my business, okay? But yes, the FBI cares if you get death threats. And this guy, Mr. Shart, kept saying that the FBI would never get involved and that I'm so full of it, right? Well, they actually did get involved. So let's talk about what actually happened here. Now, I talked about this in a previous video, but to quickly recap, on Wednesday, which was Valentine's Day at 3 o'clock in the morning, like 3:20 or whatever it was, I got a phone call from a number that I didn't recognize, and I don't pick up my phone until I get up in the morning anyway, so it doesn't matter if somebody calls me at the middle of the night. But they called me, and they didn't leave a message. Then, a couple of hours later, they sent me a couple of disgusting messages through text to my phone. And then I got a couple of emails the next day. So on Thursday, I ended up getting a couple of nasty emails from Hero Wonder on my Gmail account, my business account. 2 nasty, disgusting emails. And then it was later that day that Sammy let me know that they had set up this account on Twitter and were posting all of my personal family pictures and making death threats and saying RIP and other things on a lot of those photos. And I screen grabbed everything. So I'm not going to stand for this. That was a direct threat. One of those messages actually said, I'm going to come and take your family from you tonight. And that is a direct death threat. And so there are laws against this. There are cyber laws and things. And the first thing I did was I got a hold of Google to stop that email address and block that person. And they did send me another message yesterday morning through that email. And I immediately called my local police department. And the police department came out and spoke with me and said, unfortunately, the internet stuff, we have no control over. We have no jurisdiction over that. That's going to be Twitter's issue. And it's also, they gave me the website ic3.gov to go through and fill out a cyber report. He said, you're going to want to go there and fill that out, and the FBI will determine whether he didn't say the FBI, but the feds will determine, he said the feds will determine whether they want to get involved or not. And he goes, I'm going to have this incident report put in, and they're going to ask you to put in the incident report, and they're going to look over everything, and if they determine that they need to do something, you will get some follow-up. So that night, I went in and typed in that report, and this is when Mr. Shart and those other people were saying they're not going to do anything. They don't care about people like you. And it's not about, I don't know what being a YouTuber or a voice actor has to do with whether they're going to help you or not. They don't care who you are. It has to do with the death threats and the other threats that you get on social media. And so, no joke, Friday morning, first thing in the morning, I get a call from a number that was very close to the location of where the person was that had been messaging me and doing this stuff. And so I didn't answer it. They called back and left a message, and it was, holy crap. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the freaking FBI. So they actually called me yesterday morning, and I had a very lengthy, like half an hour conversation with this FBI agent. And we discussed, and the first thing he told me is he had me explain what was going on with the harassment. There's another individual, and I'm not going to out him on here. I've already done this in another video, who has been harassing me, and hopefully that stops as well. And they weren't the same person. But right off the bat, when I explained what was going on, he immediately told me, we know who this individual is. We know where he's located at this moment. We can tell you that it is the same person who called you and left those text messages. It is the same person who set up the email and also the account on Twitter. They're the same person. You don't have to worry. You are safe. They are here in the state, and they're currently residing at their home, and that we plan to go finish the investigation today, and then we're going to go pick this person up. I was like, holy crap. Like, they're not messing around. They're not messing around at all. He instantly knew who this person was, and they could even track where they are because of the phone and the devices that these people use. And he didn't tell me who the person was at that stage, but I was very curious as to who it was. And the FBI, 2 FBI agents, as well as local police, because what you have to understand about the FBI, and I knew this, the FBI called me again last night to kind of follow up and tell me what actually ended up happening, because they did go to this individual's house. They woke him up at 8 o'clock at night, and they wanted to make sure that he wasn't like packing his bags to come out and do anything. And the guy was very apologetic for what he had done. the FBI agent said that they had talked to him. And before I tell you what the conversation was, important to know that FBI agents don't arrest people on the spot. They don't have the jurisdiction to do that. They have to go through the DA and other entities to get a arrest warrant before they can arrest anybody, whereas local police department can arrest immediately, and that's why they went with the local police department in case this person needed to be picked up. The person was very sorry for what they had done, said they admitted they had gone too far, and they had to make the point that, disagreeing about movies and stuff is one thing, and making arguments and making fun of somebody online for stuff like that is one thing. But when you start taking their personal information and threatening their family, that's a whole different level. And he is now on this person now is on a short leash. They've got a record with the FBI, and if anything else happens at all, this person is going to be arrested and thrown in prison. They take this stuff very, very seriously. And so the person said that they willingly went in, deleted their account, got rid of that email address, and said they weren't going to do anything anymore. They could track who this person is. They know exactly. And it was at that point where they divulged this person's name to me. I wanted to know who this perpetrator was. I wanted to know who was doing this to me. And I got the person's name. And I'm not going to tell you guys who it was because I don't want to go after this person. That's not why I set up my channel. I told you guys I'm never going to go after people personally. What I will tell you is that if you come at me, and I've talked about this in a previous video, if you come at me, I am definitely going to out you to everybody, okay? I'm not going to do it with this individual, though, because they stopped, they pulled back, the FBI and the local police department were there. Now, the FBI agent said, you're probably not going to be satisfied with the fact that we didn't pick him up, but the local police department and the DA here didn't think that they wanted to prosecute this particular incident, but if anything else happens, they will automatically pick him up and he will get prosecuted. And they said, if you want to take it a step further, that I can actually go to my local police department now because the FBI got involved. I can go in with the incident report and they can actually set up an arrest warrant and try to have him extradited back to Arizona, which I'm not going to do at this stage, okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, it is over. Now, if that person does anything else, that's a whole different story, but I know who they are and I know how I have my options to be able to get, the arrest taken care of, and the FBI would go out there immediately. So here's the thing. First of all, I want to say thank you to the whole Twitter community because this actually restored my faith a little bit in humanity because even people that don't agree with me, even people who are staunch, I don't like you, except for the 3 people that I mentioned at the beginning of this video with those comments. Outside of those 3 individuals, everybody else who has been anti my channel, they all came to my defense. Everybody came to my defense on this. I appreciate it. No joke when you mess with someone's family. And I told everybody that I'm not going to put up with this. And I took care of it as quickly as I could. And I am very impressed with how quickly the FBI got involved because they take these things seriously, any threats like that. And so it's crazy that if you're getting harassed, I'm probably going to do a video on this. I had to go in, and one thing I recommend is that everybody go into their Facebook account. I had to go through 14 years of photos and make sure that every single photo was set on private or on friends only. This person did not hack my account, but they actually took the time to go in and look for that stuff and pull it out to be able to make those posts. And they were doing stuff in the middle of the night. Like this was an obsession type thing that is not healthy. Like that person really needs to go seek some help. If you are getting that all bent out of shape because I have a YouTube channel and my Twitter account, you need to get help. Please get help. But it restored my faith in humanity because everybody came to my defense, and I greatly appreciate it. Nobody should have stuff like that happen. My phone, my business, it's all separate for what I do on YouTube. If you've got a beef with me on YouTube, if you've got a beef with me on Twitter, keep it there. If you go outside of that, that gets into some very dangerous territory, and those people risk messing up their lives permanently because of what they are doing. There are laws against that kind of stuff. not just for harassment, but also death threats and everything else. Like that could get serious. For instance, if this individual did end up getting an arrest warrant put out, and he was extradited here to where I live, to the local police department, that's going to be up to 6 months in jail and a $150,000 fine. I don't think anybody wants to ruin their life because they made a stupid decision to attack somebody online. It's just crazy stuff, people. At the end of the day, it's movies, TV shows. I started my channel because Warner Brothers has been a terrible company for years, and they continue to be a terrible company. And I'm going to continue to speak out against those things. If you get upset over that, that is a personal issue. And how you guys conduct yourselves is your personal issue. I don't attack people personally. But like I said, I'm going to continue to out people who harass me like that. I will out them. I've done research on this. This is really the only way to get people to stop is to out them, to make everybody well aware of who these people are, and so it can end. It's not worth the time and the effort to do it. This was a scary situation. I learned a lot during this, and I know now what avenues I have available to me, and I may show some people how to go in and lock their stuff down. But the first thing I recommend is if you don't want your stuff shared, you've got to go in and make sure it is set to private. And my account is private, but there were certain items, and I don't know how this happened, that were set to public. But regardless of that, you cannot take people's personal stuff from one account and move it over to another account. Even though it's online and it might be public, it's still against Twitter's terms of service. So one way or another, that person was going to get their account stricken and taken off. They cannot share my photos. That is against their rules. And so, guys, again, I appreciate all of the support. I wanted to let everybody know what was going on. So, yes, the FBI didn't get involved. Yes, this was a serious situation. It was a death threat. And those things should never happen to anybody. I don't care what your beliefs are. You should be able to share your opinion online without having to have fear of death threats and have your family ridiculed. All right, guys, so there's my update on this whole situation. We will see you on the next video.